What's up, everybody? Nate here from Out of the Basement, bringing you a brand new action figure review. Today from Star Wars The Black Series, we are taking a look at the MACE WINDU and 187th Legion Clone Trooper 2-pack from Star Wars The Black Series. And just like that, the Black Series drought is over and we are so back, and what a set to start out with here. This is definitely one of the most highly anticipated sets of the year so far. This is a Hasbro Pulse / Shop Disney exclusive here in the United States. And as you can see, this features the purple version of the 187th clone, which is technically a non-canon appearance. And as far as my memory serves, it's actually a color scheme that was made up by Hasbro and then later actually adopted by Lego. However, it is typically the one that we want. And when you say 187th, the purple clone is what pops into your mind, not the weird maroon one that we got just a couple of years ago. So yeah, I'm super stoked to have this set in hand. It looks pretty damn awesome. You can see it is in the old style Galaxy packaging. This is part of a new subline called Clones of the Republic. We have Mace on the side here looking very nice on the mural art. And then we also have the Clone Trooper on the other side as well. Here is the back of the package, which again gives you more detailed looks at those mural images. Here is the bio if you want to pause it and read it now. This is the first figure set in the Clones of the Republic line. And lastly, here is that barcode down at the bottom. So let's go ahead. We are going to get this set open. We'll take a look at the accessories and then the figures themselves. And we'll start things out here looking at the clone weapons. And you can see we don't get anything too crazy here. We get the standard blaster with no paint on it. We also get the longer blaster as well, again, devoid of paint, but, you know, pretty much par for the course here. And we also have Mace Windu's lightsaber, which has some really clean paint application this time around. This is the same sculpt we've seen time and time again, although this time it does have a thicker lightsaber blade, which is always nice to see, and that purple just looks so good. All right, let's not waste any more time and take a look at the figures. And here is Mace and the 187th clone out of the packaging, and they are looking absolutely amazing in my opinion. Yes, there is a ton of reuse with both of these figures, but it is exactly what we expected. So I feel like if you bought this set and you didn't know that going in, I don't know what to tell you. But there are some minor nitpicks I have too, mainly the Clone Trooper being on the old 2020 Clone Trooper body, not the new updated 2023 version. That's a slight bummer, but I would most likely just have to chalk that up to this was probably in the pipe for a lot longer than that updated Clone Trooper was, and for whatever reason they just recently got around to releasing this set. But you could see that they both look very accurate to what they are supposed to represent. Mace, obviously the big difference being he has his Clone Wars gauntlets, so that's great to finally get another Jedi in the Clone Wars look, so you know he's going to look great with Annie and Obi-Wan. And take a look at that Clone Trooper's face. Look how matte that is. And it should also be noted that I believe this is the first time a 2020 Clone Trooper has a removable helmet with a painted face underneath. So that's kind of cool as well. So let's not waste any more time here. We're going to get these figures off the stand and get a closer look. We'll start things out here with Mace. All right, here we are up close and personal with Mace, and you can see his face is actually a little shiny, so seems like the factory used all of their matte spray on the clone and then forgot to hit Mace up here, but that's an easy fix on my end, so no big deal there. But like I said, this is primarily the exact same Mace Windu figure we already have in the line from Revenge of the Sith, or I guess technically probably Attack of the Clones, either way. Now we have seen these gauntlets before. They were actually on the 2D Clone Wars variant of Mace, but now we have the Clone Wars Jedi insignia on them, and he also has different gauntleted hands. And I really like this detail here where you could see that it's gloved and then they painted the fingers. So Mace was going through a fingerless glove phase during the Clone Wars, but hey, you know, we've all been there before. But yeah, just for a quick comparison, you can see here that they are the same figure. Now with them side by side, you can see we're actually missing some paint apps on the new Mace. Those silver details are missing except for the buckle, which is always a bummer to see. And you can actually see the robe is a different shade of beige. And the boots are also darker, and they painted the pinhole on the original figure and did not paint it this time around. So classic Hasbro move here. And actually, you can see just in general, their skin tones are different too. So interesting. But it's not a huge surprise that this version is missing paint apps like we've been talking about on the channel for a while here. And anyone that's been paying attention to the line knows that paint is pretty much going bye-bye for Black Series figures. But still, it's disappointing to see, and it's always worth mentioning because just a few short years ago, we had more paint on these figures. So yeah, that's primarily the main differences between those two figures. Now for the clone, we'll take a look at this beautiful helmet. Very nicely done. Really great paint apps on it. The mouth grill is super clean. The purple is all clean throughout, even on the fin. It looks good. Nice QC here on the helmet. It also doesn't appear to be warped, which is always a good thing. Love a non-warped helmet, so yeah, no complaints there. Looking good. And then, like I said, look at how matte the clone's face is this time around. They absolutely sprayed this with some matte finish. The factory did not miss the memo on the 187th clone, and that's great to see. I mean, it just looks so much better. It looks so much more natural. It doesn't look like he's sweating for some reason. He just looks like he's chilling, standing there. And I think they did a really nice job with the paint app details. He's got the scars on the head. This is probably the head that we've seen a few times on the 2023 clones, but no 5 o'clock hobo shadow, which is always a bonus in my book. And yeah, they just did a really great job on this head this time around. I love the way it turned out, and I wish the factory would stop missing the memo because look at how great this looks with the matte spray. But I'm going to pop the helmet back on just so you can see what he looks like with it on, and it fits perfectly and looks very good in my opinion. And then yeah, throughout the rest of the figure here, you can see it is that nice iconic purple color scheme with a little bit of, I don't know what, I guess you could call that teal perhaps, for the accents. The belt is a colored purple plastic, which looks real nice. And then we just get more details on the thigh armor, and then down to the feet, cast again in some purple plastic. Love Clone Troopers, love getting all the variants I possibly can, even when they're not canon. I think this one is mainly important just because so many of us growing up associated Mace Windu's clone battalion with these non-canon clones. And I'm glad that Hasbro realized that and gave us a chance to get some of these. Because like I said, even though the maroon ones are canon, you just can't beat this design. So with that being said, since these are both such heavily reused figures, I won't be doing an articulation breakdown in this video, but you know, both of these figures can definitely move around and you can pretty much get them into any pose that you would like. So now let's just jump into some comparisons here. And we'll start things out with a couple Mace Windus. We have the Attack of the Clones / Revenge of the Sith look, and then we also have the 2D Tartakovsky Clone Wars variant as well. And just doing the Maces all side by side, you can see they're actually 3 different shades of beige, 3 different skin tones, and 3 different boot colors, which at least it's nice to have a little bit of variety between all of them so that they're not just exactly the same thing every time. Following that up, we have the B1 Battle Droid, and we also have the canon 187th appearance. This was from Walgreens, and it's that maroon and off-white variant that we see in Clone Wars Season 7. And to me, it just doesn't really work. I don't know why they went with the weird off-white. It looks really odd compared to all of the other clone troopers that you have on the shelf. They stick out like a sore thumb, and they're actually not even like that in the show. They are stark white, just like the normal clones are, but for whatever reason, when the figure came around, they're all this weird off-white color, and it just doesn't look good. So I am happy to have this new variant because this guy is making his way to the storage bin. And last for the comparisons, we have Obi-Wan from the 3D Clone Wars series and Anakin, also from the 3D Clone Wars series. And these all just look so great together. I'm happy that we're finally adding to the 3D Clone Wars side of the shelf. I mean, I love 2D Clone Wars, don't get me wrong, and I hope we get more figures from that series. But it was kind of odd when we were getting so much love for the 2D series and then really kind of nothing in terms of Jedi from the 3D series. So this is great. So with all of that being said, I definitely think this set is worth picking up and adding to the display. I definitely understand people not wanting another MACE WINDU, but for someone like me who's hardcore into collecting and wants every variant of every character, I had to absolutely pick this one up. It definitely has some shortcomings. It's a lot of reuse. It's definitely a little bit of a bummer that the Clone Trooper is on the 2020 body. It still has all the issues that all of those figures have. The knee pads, the armor pieces are probably going to get slightly chewed up by the elbow articulation. But like I said at the beginning of the review, I feel like we all knew what we were getting into picking this set up. So I don't think you could really be that upset. I mean, it was very obvious it was the 2020 clone. And of course we knew this was just going to be a highly reused MACE WINDU. But they are still two very nice figures, and I think they look great, and they're going to look even better on the shelf in my Clone Wars display. I do hope we get a single release of the 187th in the purple form, because I would like to army build it. But even if we don't, I guess I'll just have to settle for only having one of Mace's purple clones on the shelf. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed my review. If you did, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe if you are new. We're always talking about Star Wars The Black Series here on the channel. Big shout out and special thank you to all of our current channel members. Your continued support is truly appreciated, and thank you to everyone else out there for watching. I'm Nate from Out of the Basement, and I will see you next time.